Hey y'all, the Spiritual Genie here. Welcome to another explosive and third eye opening video with me, your host. We've got a lot to talk about, but first, go on down, hit that like button because I know you're going to love this video. And please subscribe if you love Vibe and want to become part of this tribe. It's an amazing little tribe and a growing community. We would love to have you here. So let's just get started. Let's dive into the Bryan Kohberger and 4 Idaho student murderous case, okay, that we all cannot take our eyes off of. It's really been quite the wild ride to follow this case. Not that it's a ride or anything like that. I know that this is real life for the families that are involved and for anyone that was connected to the victims here. Okay, so we do want to be sensitive in that regard. At the same time, you know, we're all curious about all this evidence that's coming out. We all want to see justice done in this situation, right? I'm sure you all want to see justice just as much as I do. Okay, so let's see here. Let me break it down. All right, y'all. The evidence is mounting in this case. More documents have just been revealed, which we are going to take a nice, long, and in-depth look at. We're going to walk through every item, and we're going to really talk about what is invoked in our minds with each item here. Okay, like these items on the list make you think about a lot of things. They connect a lot of dots, especially if you've really been following, you know, this case and all the windy, twisty turns. All right. A lot of suspense has been in this case in the beginning. We were all maybe even almost losing faith at one point that something was going to shift here. And then big shifts happen, right? You know, there was an arrest made. All of this evidence has been seized. Now all of this is coming out. Thank God. So hold on to your seats, you guys, because this is going to be a very interesting and creepy, albeit ride. All right. So trigger warning, we are going to be talking about some serious subject matter here. This is a brutal slaying of 4 college students. Okay. That has been gripping the nation for months. So if you can't handle true crime, you know, the nit and grit of the true crime, you might want to leave this video. It might not be for you. You might not agree with everything I have to say. That's totally fine. I would like to invoke thinking. Feel free to comment in the comment section. All I ask is you keep it respectful. Speak to anyone as how you would like to be spoken to. The golden rule is how I was taught growing up by my mama. Okay, so do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And if you live by that golden rule, you'll be right. You'll be great. Okay, right as rain. So let's get started. Okay, first item on the list that we are going to be looking at is the knife. Okay, this is like a key piece of evidence potentially. And also it does lead me back when, you know, Papa Rogers was posting in the Facebook groups. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was somebody posting very vigilantly in Facebook groups that is believed to be Bryan Kohberger. The name Papa Roger chosen because of potentially Elliot Roger and incel, some leader of incels. Okay, we will have to get into that a little later. But anyway, potentially Papa Rogers posting, you know, things that only the killer could know, which was really creepy and eerie. And people are saying, you know, they're definitely, even police had warned at the time that the killer could have been on online forums, could have been in groups online, just so to really keep an eye out for that, because it could be someone that was trying to steer us in the wrong direction, which definitely happened with a lot of things. Okay, people had their eye on people that it wasn't, and there was a lot of paranoia, and people were really scared, honestly, when this was all going on. So Papa Rogers had said something about 2 weapons potentially being used here, 2 knives. And if that's true, I'm just wondering if this is big evidence, this knife situation. So let me share screen here. These are going to be the evidence list as listed by Brian Enton on his Twitter account. I felt like this was very Concise. Ding, spirit said confirmation. Okay, so here's our list. Okay, number one being that knife. Like I said, is this the murder weapon? Like, is this the murder weapon? Is this like explosive number one? They really are nondescript here around this knife. So we don't know. Is it, is it the serrated edged, uh, what heckin' knife? The one that they found the sheath for originally. Okay, and the probable cause affidavit, the one that had the DNA that linked Bryan to the crime. So is it the murder weapon? We don't know. It's not saying a whole lot in that regard. Let me see if I can. Oh, no. Okay, it's not working to do that. There we go. So it says additional Bryan Kohberger search warrant released from Pennsylvania, long list of items seized from his car, parents' house, including gun, knife, laptop, a green leafy substance, cell phone, black gloves, black mask. All that stuff already right there. Whoa. The knife. Whoa. Okay. So that's just what we're talking about right now. We're only on number one. There are quite a lot of items on this list. I'm not going to spend too much time on number one because I think everybody can agree that this is either like a key piece here, or maybe it's not that important at all. You tell me what you think in the comments about that number one, about that knife, okay? Because that could, I wouldn't think he would have been dumb enough, allegedly. This is all alleged, right? His guilt is alleged at this point until he has his day in court, or many days. It's going to be a crazy trial. He is only allegedly guilty of these crimes, right? So until proven guilty, which is frustrating at times in situations like this. And also you would hope that, when if you're in a situation where you could be maybe on the other side of the law and you weren't guilty, you would be thinking that. So number two, book with underlining on page 118. Okay. This makes me feel like the psychology book that they mentioned. They said they found a psychology book at the parents' house, underlining on page 118. So I wonder what that is. He did take criminal justice courses, and took classes even under Dr. Ramsland. Was this some psychology information right here that was very pertinent to how to commit the crimes, or something around the psychology of that? I would imagine it probably is. It seems very important, whatever was written on page, I believe it says 118. So either way, whatever was on that page, underlined, important. All right. So two already does stand out as well. AT&T bill for Bryan Kohberger. That would definitely be linking him to the cell phone data, right? That would be important. That would just further corroborate that evidence from the original probable cause affidavit and evidence list that we had looked at before. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check my other videos. We talked all about the probable cause affidavit, read what was in there, and the evidence that was found as well. Okay, so that was an explosive evidence in that one. That was the knife sheath that was found that linked Bryan to the crime. That was everything. It was very compelling when that came out. I had a moment. I had tears. Like I had this whole, I was so thankful that happened. And I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was an accident. It does not seem like it was on purpose to me. If it was, that's very premeditated and very strange. But let's see. Number four, woof, Glock 22, Gen 5, 40 caliber pistol. Handgun. I don't know like that much about guns, but anyway, it's a 22 Gen 5 40 cal. 40 caliber is pretty big though. I do know that. I know a little bit about guns, and I know that 40 calibers is definitely a pretty good size bullet. So I think that there was several empty magazines for this gun. So maybe he went shooting, maybe he liked to shoot. It kind of makes you think of that mass shooting that happened at WSU prior, that he did mention in that body cam footage from Indiana. Go ahead and take a look. Yeah, it was interesting how he mentioned that, he does have a thing for weapons here, wanted to be in the military, likes guns, like knives, said he had been preparing to be in the military, wanting to be a police officer. So like that could also have something to do with that. Really has like a fixation on this, wanted to have a gun, wants to have power, which is a key. Honestly, that is a common factor between like psychopaths, real psychopaths that kill. They are obsessed with power. So somebody that does own so many guns and knives, you do kind of maybe feel like they do like power. They do like to feel the power of holding a gun and knowing what can be done with the gun. We'll just say that. I mean, I'm definitely not against guns. I will say I don't have, I don't have a problem with it, but in the case of psychopaths only, so don't get triggered, people. I'm not talking to everyone here. I'm just talking about in the case of psychopaths, they like to have power and control, and so weapons and different methodologies of killing people can be, it's very specific to different killers. So this one, number 5, says Smith and Wesson pocket knife. My bad. I thought it's a 5mm. Smith and Wesson pocket knife. Okay, so a pocket knife. So carrying a pocket knife on him. This makes me think of Buddy the dog. It's just heartbreaking. I don't even want to think about if someone else out there could have been capable of this. You really hope that it was potentially Bryan Kohberger or that that's connected, because you would hate to think that someone that's capable of doing that to a poor innocent family's dog is still out there. So, I mean, everybody has pocket knives. It's not saying anything about bad about pocket knives. You know what I mean? That's not that suspicious, not standing out. 6, folder containing vehicle paperwork corroborating, linking him to that vehicle, right? That 2015 Hyundai Elantra that was seen on that gas station footage. That was very crucial, right? That the public had been made aware of by the police and had been told to look for that Elantra, right? And there was a huge search going on for the Elantra, and it was this whole thing. So that definitely ties him to that 2015 white Elantra that was seen around the crime scene during the time and after the crimes were actually committed. Okay. So it's almost just like, it just seems like it, with what just happened in the Murdaugh case, you really hope that this one's going to be a slam dunk like that one. Okay. I don't think anyone expected that that was going to go as quickly as it did. And I hope that if Bryan Kohberger knows about that, it makes him a little bit nervous, because I don't think people are playing around when it comes to this case. Like, this case was horrific and gruesome, and it was terrifying for all of us to know that someone like this was out on the loose, terrorizing all of us, which was his goal, by the way. It really was his goal, but I digress, because that's going to have to go later on with our talk about incels and Elliot Rogers and things like that. So, folder containing vehicle paperwork, a Acer laptop. Now, I almost grazed over this one earlier, but this is really important. The laptop, all the FBI has, like, they had talked about digital forensics the last time during the other videos that I made about the probable cause affidavit that talked all about the digital forensics and suspect vehicle number 1 and the path of the vehicle and where it was seen and all the routes that it had taken, from WSU basically to and from the crime scene in very key places during key times. But this laptop is going to have all kinds of stuff on it. They had said there's a lot of talk about Bryan Kohberger having been stalking, especially one of the victims. A lot of people theorize that it could have been Maddie at this point, and we'll get into that a little bit more later too. But there's just going to be a lot of information probably that's going to be able to be obtained from that laptop. I would say, like, very crucial information in regard to the stalking, all of, like, his, maybe whatever he was thinking, planning, doing, leading up to the crimes. I think he probably figured he was going to get caught eventually, but I think it was almost like this last hurrah of, like, I'm going to get this done no matter what, right? So, green leafy substance in green container, number 8. Okay, we can imagine what that is. We all know that Bryan does have prior use of drugs, or a drug problem, I guess you could say. And he was addicted to heroin at one point, but maybe conquered that when he decided to go to school and things. So seems like he could still be using, maybe, who knows what that is. It's an herb of some sort. They don't say. Green leafy substance. Didn't really want to specify there, I guess. I guess they figured if they said what it was, that it would maybe make him further incriminated in, like, the court of public opinion. But yeah. So documents, and then green leafy substance in a plastic bag. white paper with, I could not read this earlier. Password. I don't know. I think it's password. White paper with password. I don't know. It looks like password. We'll just assume it's password. Maybe it was a password for the computer, you know. Power cable, cell phone. All right, dang, they got his cell phone too, right? They had said that there were pictures, right, on his phone, I believe it was, of Maddie Mogen. He had a lot of pictures of her on his phone, and he had even been DMing one of the victims prior to all of these events, right? So DMing the victim, and it turns out, you know, this is probably Maddie here. So we all thought it was Kaylee in the beginning, and I do believe he was stalking all of them. I think that he really wanted this to be a mass murder situation, so I do believe he was indeed probably stalking all of them, allegedly. However, it seems like maybe there was someone who was his main focus here, someone he had been giving extra attention to in his mind and whatnot. So what else do we have here? The cell phone's going to be huge too. That is going to be huge. That cell phone is linking him basically to the crime scene and tracking his exact whereabouts, and the fact that it was off during the time of the crimes being committed is so suspect, the FBI had said. So that cell phone's also going to be a gold mine. 13 is standing out for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the items that I'm reading off. Tell me what you think personally is significant about some of these items, and what items stand out for you. So 3 Glock 40 caliber magazines empty. There we go. Those empty magazines. So definitely means he was shooting that gun off at some point. 3 empty magazines as well. So maybe he just went shooting for fun. Who knows? We don't know. I mean, shoot, you even wonder, like, could that be connected to another crime? We do not know. We're just going to have to wait to find out, because I feel like something like that would come out in the trial. They wouldn't be able to say anything about it now because of the gag order. And we're lucky we got all this, because I feel like this is all very, 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 this is so important. Like, this is everything. This is what links Bryan to the crimes. All right. And that is what we need. We need a conviction here if he is indeed guilty, right? Books. So probably books, all school books and things, different kinds of books. I'm sure he has plenty of, he loves to read. He's very intelligent, right? He always wants everyone to know how intelligent he is. I wonder what kind of books they collected. They probably collected a bunch of different kinds of books, because I'm sure this guy had tons of books. And tons of information on, serial killers and on true crime and on just forensics and on all kinds of police things. And who knows what all books he had that could really honestly be making him look really bad in the end of all of this. The books could be a key factor as well. 15 is really standing out to me. The books, the cell phone, the laptop, the guns, the empty magazines. This is all going to be important in some way here. Because if they, like I said, when they searched for things, if they recovered all of this stuff, they had reason. They had to have like probable cause to obtain this stuff, right? To take this stuff away, to remove it from the residence, to use it as evidence. Here we go. Now it gets a little creepy too. Black face masks. What kind of masks? What kind of mask? Says later we're gonna see another mask. So we've got black face masks. I assume those are probably the medical masks. Then we also have a, what does that say? Prescription? That says prescription, I think. Something like that. So prescription for what? We don't know. Could be medication. Could it be for the visual snow? Could it be for, who knows, some type of prescription for whatever? I'm not exactly sure about his medical history. I have no idea if he suffers from anything other than the visual snow syndrome, which that's a whole nother video. And black gloves. Okay, so we got black gloves. That's creepy. And we have one black hat and one black mask. So we have black gloves, black hat, black mask right there. That doesn't look at all suspicious. I mean, not you. It wouldn't usually be, but in his case, right, it does look a little strange. We'll just say. And also, the figure was clad in black that Dylan described passing by her in her testimony, right, in her during her interview with police and with FBI, how she had said she stood in the frozen shock phase as the killer just walked by her. All of that being a huge mystery to everyone. Oh, why didn't she call the police? We do not know. We're not going to find out until the trial. A lot of theories going around about that, but we don't actually really know. And so I don't want to keep theorizing further on something but no, that just definitely doesn't look good. You got all this black stuff, you're already looking like a Jeepers creeper, stalking and watching and lurking and creeping and being a creeper, because there already have been so many complaints also about him just being creepy in general and treating women badly and whatnot. So here we go, continuing this long ass list. 20 personal, what is that? Identifying documents. Okay. Personal identifying documents. So documents to identify him, I guess, further. Don't know exactly what that means. 21, new something shoes. So a lot of dark colored clothing, just 22 through like 24, all dark colored clothing recovered for whatever reason. So maybe fibers, like I had said at the scene of the crime, or maybe whatever, who knows. These are all going to link him somehow, or else they wouldn't be on here. Okay, we got receipt or application. Something, sale, Glock, the sale for the gun. Okay. Something in desk, criminal psychology book, documents, and something from the university. Okay, moving on. I can't read a couple of those things. I don't think they're like super. Extra large Columbia, Navy fleece, a man's mind drawing, 10 ID cards inside glove, inside box. So that one's strange. That one stands out. I remember when I was reading this before and chewing this one in my mind, I was thinking, what does that mean? Right? 10 ID cards inside glove, inside a box. So it's like ID cards inside of a glove that's inside of a box. Why? It seems like that he was trying to hide something, conceal these cards for some reason. So that could be really significant. Could be like, are those tokens or something odd from maybe another crime? We know how BTK, somebody that he studied under Dr. Ramsland in school, his PhD studies, also did. So it could be. We don't know that. What is this? Something immunology, books, notes, license, card, various something, books, notes, license, card, immunology. So maybe like vaccine history or status stuff. Dark colored hat, black gloves. Oof. So a lot of dark colored clothing, hats and gloves. It almost seems like, dang, you wear a lot of dark colored clothes. It really is it for all of your nighttime activities, all of your nighttime runs that you're going on? Prowling, more like it. A lot of clothing. So they're really taking a lot of clothing. Maybe they're just trying, maybe they have the right to take a lot of clothing because it's like, who knows if he was wearing clothing at time of doing whatever. They don't know what kind of DNA they might find on his clothes. More a motherboard for computer. Everything before that was just a bunch of clothes too. More black gloves and black clothes. Just really creepy. It gives like a weird vibe that they're taking all of that. Washington State University paperwork, medical documents, court documents. Okay, documents, clothes, different things there. Note to dad from Bryan. Now this one stands out. Why would you write a note to your dad? And what was the gun for? Like, I don't know. I just almost wonder if he was planning, if he got caught, if he was planning to like take himself out, if you know what I mean, and like made a note to his dad, or if like, here's a note to my dad just in case I get arrested. Like, who knows what the heck that note says. Someone else had said, is this like a burn after reading situation, kind of like, you know, from the Gabby Petito case? I guess he didn't ever give it to it. Well, he didn't ever, I don't know what the heck that is about. So anyway, they found that note. Apparently he didn't want that note to be found yet, obviously. Okay. So this is maroon colored spiral notebook. Who knows what's written in that notebook? I imagine it says like, I love Maddie. I love Maddie like a million times, since he was like crushing on her and stalking her apparently. Okay, so we got another laptop or something like that. Lots of laptops, lots of computer. Here's another Lenovo laptop. So the computers are probably going to yield a lot of information. I mean, that could be like years worth. That could be years worth of like what this guy has been up to. Years worth of his activities, like we were just talking about. His creeping, his lurking and jerking. I don't know, you know, it's freaking nasty. It's scary to think that people like this exist. It's haunting. Okay. Taylor cutlery knife with the leather sheaths. That's interesting because that is what makes me think of that Papa Rogers post about the two weapons, the Taylor cutlery knife with leather sheath. Because Papa Rogers post said there were two weapons used. And there were things that that person could have not known unless they were the actual killer, right? So chances of it being him are quite high, especially just because of all the little factors around that. But we know that that leather sheath was found at the other scene, right? And let me just take you there for a second. We know that this one was found, okay? And so he says he's a vegan, right? Bryan's an avid vegan. He also got angry and has control issues. So he freaked out on his aunt about replacing all the pans because maybe she cooked meat in them. Not like it's going to penetrate into the metal or something like that. He's like, the particles will penetrate. I mean, I guess I get it. But also at the same time, it doesn't make any sense to be a vegan and also to be like a cold-blooded killer. It doesn't make sense. You can't, no, it's not like you have a thirst for blood in a different way. Let's just say that. So we know that this was found, and then now we're finding another knife with a leather sheath. So there's the original knife and then a knife with a leather sheath. They're not putting them like next to each other, maybe to not make it look like it's like related. Maybe it's not, but it kind of seems interesting that they would do that. This says from affidavit page 2, I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-Bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA suspect profile left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Hallelujah. That was just the news that brightened my day, and I felt so happy that that news had come out. I don't know what, just a bird flew by or something. That was confirmation from spirit. So anyway, I just wanted to take you guys back to that really quick. I know that's sorry to just like rush out of there. I know it's pretty chilling. You know, this is trigger warning. Like this is the digital walkthrough. Okay. The original affidavit and some of the evidence that was talked about on that one, you know, and then the things that were recovered from the WSU apartment and everything like that, you know, the dog hair, which we, you know, all wondering if that's potentially Murphy the dog, Kaylee's previous dog, the golden doodle, if that's one of his magical golden doodle hairs that's also going to further potentially place Bryan, hopefully, at the scene of the crime, right? So, yeah, this is very
As I entered this bedroom, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogen were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogen's right side, when viewed from the door.
Okay, so we already saw that. We don't need to go over that again. It's pretty chilling now, especially since the house is boarded up and set to be demolished. I mean, which honestly, I don't really think is going to be a good thing for the case at this point. I think that house is very, even though it's very tragic, it holds like a level of shock value. And I think that in this case, that's going to be needed. We're going to need as much weight pushing for empathy from the jury, right? To sympathize with the prosecution here and lean away from having any type of reasonable doubt. So we really want this conviction. We want maybe possibly the fullest potential punishment possible here, right? And we don't do injections anymore, so they're saying like possibly firing squad is an option, different ways. Firing squad, it's pretty brutal. So whatever it is, I hope that divine justice is brought in this situation. I hope that Bryan Kohberger gets whatever he deserves, whether that be the ultimate punishment possible or if he's innocent, getting off of this case. But at this point, all this evidence that's mounting, it just don't look good, honey. It ain't looking good. We got several swabs here, right? Swab 1, 2, 3, and 4. That Taylor cutlery knife, though, with that leather sheath, I'm telling you, that one feels very significant as well. 57. That one's a big deal. All these laptops as well and computers, big deal. But a lot of things are going to come off of there. We have no idea what, and he thinks he could delete things and maybe he's good at scrubbing. I think the FBI is probably better. They're probably better and they probably have more technological availability in order to do this advanced forensics, right? Digital forensics. So I don't think he can scrub things as much as he thought. If Hillary Clinton can't bleach all her stuff away and scrub her stuff clean, then I don't think Bryan Kohberger can neither, because he just ain't coming off as smart as he thinks he is, honey. No, because some of these mistakes, it seems like even a rookie wouldn't even make, right? Unless they wanted to get caught. So it's a doozy. 2 pair of dark colored boots, 1 pair of brown boots. So it kind of makes you wonder, all the shoes that they collected, do they feel like these are going to be significant? And that's why they collected it. The shoes could be significant, I do feel like, actually. So that was all the items that were very significant. Actually, that was kind of all of the items, basically. So let me just take the view back here onto me for a second. I don't want to drag this video on and on and on. I mostly did just want to talk about all the items that were found and kind of like what they made me feel like. If you want to go watch my other videos about the original probable cause affidavit and the evidence that was found, you can go ahead and do that. And I would appreciate that. So I think I'm probably going to wind this up at this point, actually, for this video. And I'll make another video about the Bryan Kohberger, Papa Rogers situation. And we will go a little bit more into detail about all of that and some other things that I've been thinking about and just maybe some theories and stuff like that. So all very, very, could be very damning. A lot of this, the knife really striking me. I would really love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please, as you go out of here, if you haven't already, hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. I love you. And if you love my vibe, please join my tribe. I love you. I want to have you. I want to give you a hug. Let's do it, right? Let's build community together. Let's keep spreading awareness. Let's stay aware in these situations, because honestly, this is scary stuff. There are people like this out in the world, and we do need to stay vigilant. And I feel like, that is something that true crime almost makes me feel safer about, is that it makes you aware that these things do exist. They are indeed very real, and there are people out there like this. So we need to kind of like all stay poised. Like I say, keep your third eyes open, keep perceiving that which is even hidden from you, that which is beyond the veil. You want to also try and see in your mind's eye, right? Okay, so meditate, do that good self-love and self-care, take care of yourself. And until next time, I'm the Spiritual Genie, and let's just say a little prayer for the families and anyone that's still suffering that knew and loved the victims, Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison. And Holy Spirit, please send peace to anyone that is suffering now, that loved the 4 victims that have passed. And may you please hold and guide and watch over their souls for all of eternity, Holy Spirit. And may you also guide and watch over all of us, cloak us, imbibe us with your divine sword of truth here so that we can cut through the muck, cut through the mire. We can see things clearly, see things for what they are. Thank you so much. Amen. And so it is. That's it for now. Till next time. I'm the Spiritual Genie. Mwah.